For the 9th race of the 2020 UCI Women's World Tour season, we head to Oudenaarde and one of the most iconic races of any year, the Tour of Flanders. With the short season drawing to a conclusion, could we expect something different from riders tired after 3 intense? With rain falling across northern Belgium and after an early flurry of attacks, 5 women escaped up the road, with Teuntje Beekhuis, Gloria Rodriguez, Mieke Kroger, Emily Newsom and Heidi France soon building a lead of approaching 4 minutes. However, with the favourites behind always in control, it was Sunweb who kicked off the action, and UCI Women's World Tour best young rider Liane Lippert setting off in pursuit. However, with both groups caught before the Tyenberg cobbled climb, Rianne Marcus and Elena Amialusic made their own escape, the pair building a lead of 45 seconds as they reached the top of the Kruisberg. It was here, though, that the race really caught fire, with repeated attacks being launched over the top and onto the tarmac ascent of the Hotonde, where Chantal van den Broek-Blak led the next move. But with Marcus and Amialusic caught, and the group reforming, it was European champion Annemiek van Vleuten who made one of her devastating attacks, with only world champion Anna van der Breggen able to react, bringing the race back together before the Oude Quaremont. And it was here, near the top of the penultimate climb, that Van den Broek-Blak made another move. Onto the fearsome Paterberg, the former world champion led by only a handful of seconds. But as she made her way, on flatter roads, back towards Oudenaarde, that gap grew despite repeated counterattacks, with Van Vleuten and her Mitchelton Scott teammate Grace Brown particularly active. But with 2 Boels-Dolmans teammates in the chasing group marking every move, the gap to the chasers grew and grew, and the leader entered the final kilometre with an advantage of 1 minute. Still attacks came from the chasers though, Floortje Mackay hoping to bring glory for Team Sunweb, but she was soon closed down and it was all in vain. Van den Broek-Blak's lead was far too large, and the Dutchwoman had time to sit up and savour her victory at the Tour of Flanders.
I've dreamed already for a long time about this race. It's a super hard race to win and everyone wants to win it, but yeah, it's a dream come true actually, yeah. We had a good meeting already and Anna said directly, girls, I race for you today, which is super nice of course, because she also can win it, but Amy is in a very good shape. Jolien, yeah, she showed last week that she also can win. And I also said like, yeah, this is a race I dreamed of. So, but then it's actually easy. It's just play the game together and try to make it work. But we were there with 4 on the Quaremont, and then you have just the numbers, and it's just a feeling. And I thought, okay, now this is the moment I try it, and when it works, it works, and when it's not working, then we have 3 people behind.
No, yeah, I think today the 3rd place was the highest possible. Boels was very strong, just all of them. They were 4 after the Hoton, still in the first group, so I knew it would be very hard to win from them, but yeah, I'm actually really happy with the 3rd place today.
Yeah, it was like that. We were all free to go, and it was just a moment. And I think we all were strong today. And in the end, she attacked on the Quaremont, and she was away. And the only thing we had to do is control it and finish the stuff in the podium place. And yeah, it worked out well, so we are happy.
It was an excellent day for Boels-Dolmans, with Van den Broek-Blak's teammate Amy Pieters finishing 2nd ahead of Lotte Kopecky, with Lisa Brennauer and Sarah Roy 4th and 5th respectively.
Nog altijd aan kop na vandaag in het algemeen klassement van de Women's World Tour.
There's no change at the top of the UCI Women's World Tour individual standings, with Lizzie Deignan continuing to lead ahead of Anna van der Breggen and Elisa Longo-Borghini, while Demi Vollering has moved up into 5th place.
Proficiat! Well done, Liane. She stays in the lead after today.
In the young rider classification, Liane Lippert still leads Michaela Harvey, Marta Cavalli and Juliette Labousse, while an excellent finish sees Vittoria Guazzini move from 10th place into 5th overall.
The Tour of Flanders never disappoints, and the 104th edition was as exciting as ever it was. Moved, of course, to the autumn due to COVID, but also slightly shorter and no more to Gerardsbergen, but nonetheless, 3 passages of the Oude Quaremont was something to behold. Always got to be brave if you want to be part of a breakaway, and 6 riders took on that task. Van Poppel from Circus Wanty Gobert, Van Hoek from CCC, Van den Bosch from Sport Vlaanderen, along with Battistella from NTT, and Payskins from Bignol Wallonie Brussels. Well, the maximum gap got up to around about the 8-minute mark, the favourites marking each other out. Very, very strong teams here. Strongest of all on paper, it seemed, De Koning Quickstep. The strongest riders individually, Wout van Aert and Mathieu van der Poel. Van Aert found that this race can throw up all kinds of obstacles in your way, and he found himself in a ditch on 2 occasions, but remounted safely after soft landings. You want hard? Well, the climbs here most certainly are. The Oude Quermont and the Paterberg combination always going to define the day. Who then would stop the 2 race favourites, Van der Poel and Van Aert? Well, Julian Alaphilippe, hiding in plain view, as he always does, pushed on one of the tests, followed by Mathieu van der Poel. They were asking questions of Wout van Aert, and he was answering them, but the effort he was having to put in to keep up, maybe that would tell a little later. The flair of Alaphilippe has been a joy to watch this season, and the world champion looked to be comfortably upsetting the odds within this now trio out front. They pushed on, and Alaphilippe was as good as, if not better than, Van der Poel and Van Aert in the climbs. And then this. Just riding into the back of a moving motorcycle. Just bad fortune, frankly. Shoulder injury for Alaphilippe, out of the race, leaving our 2 principal prize fighters to duke it out. The gap they posted on the chase was ever growing. It was always going to be minor places for everyone in their wake. The wake-up call had been issued. Well, just like the prize fighters that they are, you can imagine the poster if this had been a boxing match. Nose to nose, well, it was wheel to wheel all the way home. They worked very well together. This pairing that had essentially grown up together in the world of cyclocross found themselves racing for the line. Van der Poel the more explosive, Van Aert coming from behind and alongside, and it looked like the Jumbo-Visma rider would get it at the line. Super response from Mathieu van der Poel. Wasn't sure he'd taken it until he was told that that was the case. Battle for the minor places, Alexander Kristoff getting himself on the podium, having won this race in the past. An amazing battle. The 2 prize fighters indeed did duke it out for the title, and in the end a modest margin it was that went the way of the Dutch champion. The Netherlands had a raiding party, and a big party in the offing, you can be sure. Mathieu van der Poel had done it. Well, Wout van Aert had a battle with Van der Poel in the press ahead of this, arguing about how and what might have been in Gent-Wevelgem. Van der Poel taking the day ahead of Van Aert. Kristoff in 3rd place, ahead of Churgis, Lampaert, Claes, Naesen, Van Baal, Degenkolb with a spirited performance on the day as well. Super winner of a super race. It always is a great occasion, so it proved once more.